So, with the release of Deadpool and Wolverine this past weekend, it is now time to share my ranking of all 14 X-Men films from both Fox and now Disney as well. So, let's get into the ranking, shall we? Hi everyone, I'm Mike, and welcome back to the channel. Today, as I said, we're going to be ranking all 14 X-Men films from worst to best, and as, it should probably go without saying, but this is my opinion, not the objective answer. But yeah, this is going to be my ranking. But if you want to share your opinion, please let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to read your guys' rankings. And let me know what you thought of Deadpool and Wolverine. I also had a non-spoiler review come out on Thursday, I believe. So I'll have that pinned up here somewhere so you can go check that out. And with that out of the way, let's get into the ranking. Coming in at number 14, dead last is going to be X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, this movie is an interesting story because, yeah, it has a lot of problems, but really it all sprouts because it was made during the writer's strike of 2007. This was supposed to set up a series of X-Men Origins films, and unfortunately, it bombed, so it did not start this, little sprouting series. I know there was going to be like a Magneto film that ended up turning into First Class. There was supposed to be a Gambit film, and that did not go through, unfortunately. But yep, this is the final product, and man, it is a mess. And I'm not even going to get into the issues because so many other people have gotten into the issues. So, yep, comes in at dead last. My number 13 is going to be The New Mutants, which is a film that is inherently very flawed, yes, but kind of entertaining because it has some pretty interesting characters attached to it. Just not a great film in general, honestly. I don't know. It has some really cool ideas. It just is pretty wasted potential, unfortunately. And I also haven't seen it in a couple years, so I can't really tell you a whole lot about it. Just kind of a forgettable film. So, yep, comes in at number 13 for me. Coming in at number 12 is the first attempt at the Dark Phoenix saga, which is X-Men 3: The Last Stand. Now, this is, of course, the finale of the original X-Men trilogy. It tries to combine the Dark Phoenix saga and the Mutant Cure plot lines and tries to, you know, merge them into one movie, and it really does not work. First things first, right off the bat, like in the first 20-30 minutes, they kill off Cyclops, which he was already a really wasted character in this trilogy, but man, this movie really shows that. They kill off one of the most important characters in the entire X-Men franchise, like from the comics and the animated series, and just wasted him completely, specifically in this film, and it just really stinks. And Famke Jensen, I believe, is who plays Phoenix, is fine. I don't love the characterization of Phoenix in this film. It just really feels like a little bit overacted, kind of. I don't really know how to put that into simple terms, but yeah, it just feels a little bit overplayed. And I mean, I really like the other characters. I think what they tried to do with these ideas just really fell through, unfortunately, and just isn't a film that I ever go back and rewatch. If I'm going to watch one of the original X-Men films, I'm going to watch 1 and 2, but yeah, honestly, just not a whole lot to discuss with this film, unfortunately. Just a big bag of wasted potential that looks pretty cool, I will say. The action is pretty good. And at number 11 is the second attempt at the Dark Phoenix saga, X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, once again, point in case scenario of wasted potential. This film just kind of shit the bed once again on the Dark Phoenix saga storyline, and is kind of funny to joke about because they messed up Dark Phoenix twice in cinematic history. That's just kind of sad, but yeah, honestly, I don't like this adaptation of Dark Phoenix. I think it's a pretty horrible adaptation. Visually speaking, though, pretty good. Score is amazing. One of Hans Zimmer's best scores, honestly. But I don't know. In general, I don't know. The performances are really not great. The writing is also really not great. Just not a great film in general, so it comes in at 11 for me. Number 10, speaking of wasted potential, we have probably the biggest case of wasted potential of the entire X-Men saga, franchise, whatever you want to call it, X-Men Apocalypse. Now, this film, like I said, just a big bag of wasted potential. This introduced one of the big bads of the entire X-Men saga, or the entire X-Men comic lore in Apocalypse, and man, Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse could have been so good, but man, they just, once again, they shit the bed with Apocalypse as a character. And of course, this also introduced the Mutant Academy for this little timeline in the X-Men saga, and just wasn't great, unfortunately. I don't know. Ty Sheridan is a pretty bad version of Cyclops. I just really don't like his representation of it. I will say, though, what they do with Magneto is awesome. I really enjoyed that stuff. But other than that, man, I don't know. This movie is just kind of all over the place. It's just a big mess. Now, from 9 up, I actually really, really enjoyed these movies, but coming in at number 9 is going to be James Mangold's The Wolverine. Now, this film is a really, really cool idea that has really good first 2 acts and then kind of just crumbles apart in the last 20 minutes or so. I love getting to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine going into the samurai sort of like going into like this Japanese lore base and learning the way of the samurai. And then I really enjoy that idea, really love what they did for the first 2 acts or so. And then just really crumbled underneath its footing in the last 20 minutes or so, with the Silver Samurai being a really cool idea in, like, in on paper, but then in execution just didn't work whatsoever. But yeah, action's great, the visuals are great. James Mangold does really good at directing in this film, and Hugh Jackman gives one of his best performances once again as Wolverine. But yeah, it has issues though, unfortunately. But watch the extended cut; it adds like a couple more action sequences into it, and it makes the film a little bit better, honestly. Not one of my favorites of the series. Obviously, it's at number 9, but pretty cool movie, I will say. So it's not nearly as bad as some of the others on this list. Now, coming in at number 8 is a film that is kind of another point in case scenario of a film that is the start of a franchise, but no one would ever say is the best of the series, and it is the original X-Men from 2000. Now, this film was groundbreaking at the time because it was one of the first punches into the comic book movie genre, the modern day representation of a comic book movie, and it is a great, great first movie. The visuals actually really hold up for the year 2000. It's a pretty decent looking movie. The action's great. Hugh Jackman is awesome being introduced as Wolverine. This is like his big breakout role, and yeah, I really like most things about this movie. I just kind of wish it was a little bit longer, had more time to flesh out some of the protagonists, and also just kind of think it was a little bit wasted not to do comic accurate suits. But the black suits, they look fine. That's about it. So yeah, first X-Men comes in at number 8 for me. And speaking of the original X-Men, coming in at number 7 is X-Men United X2, whatever you want to call it. X2, X-Men United. Yeah, great film, obviously. It's a fantastic film. I really, really enjoyed this film. Probably one of the more like comic accurate films of the series. In the case of, just the characterization of these, the X-Men characters really feels a lot more like the comics. You get a lot more Cyclops, probably the best representation of Cyclops in live action, and also just a lot of X-Men kicking ass. You didn't have to worry about the X-Men getting set up. It's just doing more with those characters, and it really, really works. I just think there's some really slow parts. It's about 2 hours 15, so it didn't need to be that long, but hey, it's a fun movie. Really, really cool film. So yeah, comes in at number 7. Now from number 6 up, I adore these movies. So this is a really, really tight list right here. But coming in at number 6 is The New Kid on the Block, we have Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, this film was awesome. Okay. For a Marvel fan, for an X-Men fan, for a Deadpool fan, this movie ruled. I absolutely love what they did with the two lead characters being, Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously. Their chemistry is off the charts, great. Of course, behind the scenes, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman already have great chemistry. They're good buddies. And yeah, they were awesome together in this movie. And seeing them together for the first time since X-Men Origins Wolverine was it's a relief. It's definitely a relief. So yeah, seeing these two on screen together is awesome. The writing is really great. The comedy is awesome in this film. The action is also really really good. And man, you can't talk about this movie without talking about the cameos because the cameos were amazing. Um, just moments that make you want to get out of your seat and start clapping, cheering because it was really, really good. So yeah, it comes in at number 6 only because the villains were just kind of weak. I liked Cassandra Nova; she was cool, but Paradox, whatever his name was a really, really weak villain. And also just because I don't think Sean Levy really has that eye for directing. He's got, decent like choreography skills, but like other than that, he doesn't really have a great flair as a director. So yeah, it comes in at number 6 just because of that, but I still love this movie. Don't get me wrong. Coming in at number 5 is a film that a lot of people have been just kind of sweeping under the rug as of recently, but X-Men First Class is one of my favorites of the entire franchise just because it has this sort of like James Bond-esque feel to it. It really, just like envelops you into this world of the X-Men, bringing you into the world of, Professor X and Magneto, two awesome characters that I love the representation of in this film. Just this being a prequel about how they started the X-Men and whatnot. It's a really great, prequel, and I absolutely love going back to rewatch it every now and then. It's a awesome movie. I thoroughly enjoy watching this one, so it comes in at number 5. Number 4 is going to be the original Deadpool, probably the movie I've watched the most on this list, just because back during COVID, I first watched this film and I absolutely adored it. Watched it on loop because it was COVID, lockdown, I was bored. So this film really got me out of like a tough spot in life. So yeah, I got to give it credit for that. As a film as a whole, it's like it's got a couple issues. I mean, it's kind of it makes fun of itself because it didn't even have like that big of a budget, and because it's like the most like profitable R-rated film of all time, it makes fun of its own budget for not being able to get like more X-Men into the film. And I don't love like how far they reach past like the fourth wall breaking. I don't love how much they do that in this film particularly, but it is funny. And Ryan Reynolds is awesome in this film. So it only is in number 4 just because I have that slight issue of it kind of just like overstepping just a tiny bit over on rewatch. But man, what a funny, funny film. It comes in at number 4. I love it. Coming in at number 3 is going to be X-Men Days of Future Past. Now, a lot of people consider this the masterpiece of the X-Men franchise. And yeah, I agree. It's an amazing, amazing film. I love time travel stories, and this is no exception to that. I absolutely love the characters in this. You get two versions of Charles Xavier in there. You get Wolverine going back in time and trying to save, the mutants from getting attacked by the Sentinels, having to stop, the Sentinels from killing, most of the mutants, and then sending them into hiding. I think that's a really, really great storyline, and is really well represented in this film. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect film per se. Like, there's some issues that I have with it, but man, it's such a fun film to just throw on every now and then. It's a great film, and of course, it's got the amazing Quicksilver scene, one of the greatest action sequences in any comic book film. It comes in at number 3. It's awesome. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Deadpool 2, which is actually a lot higher than I know a lot of people will put on their list, but I absolutely adore this movie. Like I said, I love time travel films, and I love Deadpool, so this is right up my alley. I adore this film. I've probably rewatched this just about as much as the first film. This and the first film were on loop back when I was younger during COVID, and man, I I adore this film. What can I say? It's awesome. Cable is an awesome character. Domino's awesome as well, and it's just it's got awesome action, got great comedic moments. Maybe like a couple issues, just like a little bit too much of like too many things going on in the film. Um, but yeah, I still absolutely love it, and also kind of brings a tear to my eye listening to "Take on Me" acoustic song. It's awesome. I love this film. So coming in at number 2, but coming in at number 1, the one film out of this franchise that I can say has zero flaws. I think is a flawless film. Is Logan at my number 1. Logan is a true masterpiece. Uh, I think should have won Best Picture the year it came out. Should have won Best Actor for Hugh Jackman. Just absolutely an amazing, amazing film from top to bottom. Dramatic, super, super entertaining, super bleak. What Wolverine should be, just this bleak, dark character, true to the source material of Old Man Logan. I just I can't get enough of this film. I've watched it at least a dozen times, and every time I watch it, peels back another layer of just how great, how well made this film is, and I absolutely love it. So it comes in at number 1. Like I said, guys, go ahead and throw your rankings down below in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think of this film, these films, and let me know again what you think of Deadpool and Wolverine. And yeah, if you guys are, Marvel fans just like me, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and also stay tuned for sometime this week. I'm going to be hopefully dropping a full MCU ranking of the TV shows, the shorts, everything in between. So, yep. Stay tuned for that, and have a good one, guys.